Yo, what's up? Dr. Swole here, MD, pro physique athlete. Today I'm going to be giving you a full 6-day hypertrophy program based on the push-pull legs Arnold split. Both the push-pull legs and the Arnold split are popular setups for 6 days per week, but you can actually combine them into a 6-day program doing 3 days of each. Push-pull legs divides your body up to 3 days. On push days, you train pushing muscles, so chest, triceps, and shoulders. On pull days, you train pulling muscles, so the back and biceps. And on leg days, you train the legs, so quads, glutes, hamstrings, and calves. In the Arnold split, your body is also split up into 3 days, but that split is chest and back, shoulders and arms, and legs. This is going to be a low volume program which will be well suited for beginners or people who respond to lower volumes. We'll start off with a program walkthrough where I'll share everything you'll need to know to run the program yourself, including exercises, sets, and reps. Then we'll talk about the weekly layout, or how to spread out your workouts across the week. Finally, we'll talk about the pros and cons of this 6-day hypertrophy program. All right, let's do our program walkthrough. This is Dr. Swole's push-pull legs Arnold split program. It's a low volume program designed for beginners or those who respond well to low volumes. We've got chest and back day, leg day number 1, shoulders and arms, pull day, push day, and leg day number 2. Note that the order of days is different than the traditional way that these splits are laid out, as I mentioned at the beginning. We'll talk about that more in the weekly layout. Here are the exercises and there are the sets and reps. Down here we have the total number of sets for each workout to give you an idea of workout length. And down here we have the total number of sets for each muscle group each week. Starting off with chest and back day. We start off with bench press for the chest. 3 sets, and we're going to work up to 1 top heavy set of 5 to 8 reps, followed by 2 back off sets of 6 to 10 reps. So we're using a top set back off method here. The top set back off method allows you to build some strength while touching those heavy weights, but still get in some volume with a lighter weight afterwards. It's a really powerful hybrid strength and hypertrophy strategy. Next, we have weighted chin-ups for the back, 3 sets of 8 to 12. Followed by chest supported rows also for the back, 3 sets of 12 to 20. Then we have machine lateral raises for the side delts, 3 sets of 8 to 12. You're immediately going to see that I've made some changes to the base splits here, as I always do. Remember that splits are just a beginning scaffold and you always want to be modifying them to make them better. I spread out my side delts here to allow me to get in more quality work across the whole week. Finally, we wrap up with abs, so 3 trisets, and when I say triset, you're basically going to go through 3 exercises back to back with minimal rest. That will be 1 triset, and I recommend trying to include exercises that will allow for progressive overload, like hanging leg raises, weighted crunches, and weighted cable crunches. Then we go to leg day number 1. We start off with squats for the quads. We're just going to work up to 1 top heavy set here of 6 to 10 reps. Working up to just 1 top heavy set of your main lifts isn't such a bad idea for beginners because it really allows you to push hard on that set and focus on getting in quality work. Also, as a beginner, you should be able to progress with relatively low volumes. Next, we have leg presses for the quads, 3 sets of 8 to 12. While you're on the leg press machine, you can get in some calf raises for the calves. We're using a MyRep scheme here, so you're going to work up to 1 main set of 8 to 15 reps, followed by 6 mini sets of 3 to 5 reps. And you're going to be taking around 10 seconds of rest in between each of these sets. This equates to around 4 straight sets. The idea behind MyReps is that you're trying to get in more effective reps. So by staying close to failure on all of these mini sets by taking short rest periods, you're going to be getting a lot of quality work in a shorter period of time. Then we wrap up with leg curls for the hamstrings, 3 sets of 10 to 15. Next, we have shoulders and arms. Our first exercise is dumbbell overhead press. This mainly hits the front delts, but also gets a bit of upper pecs and triceps, 3 sets of 6 to 10. After that, hammer curls for the biceps, 3 sets of 8 to 12. If you want, you can superset these 2 dumbbell movements to save time. Then we have weighted dips for the triceps and the chest, 3 sets of 6 to 10. This program highlights an advantage of the Arnold split here, where you're able to put some of your accessory pressing movements onto this shoulders and arms day. By counting overhead presses as a shoulder movement and dips as a tricep movement, you're able to fit in more heavy pressing, and it also gives you another chance to spread out a bit of pec volume, since weighted dips do give you quite a bit of pec stimulus. Then we have cable lateral raises for the side delts, 3 sets of 10 to 15, and you can superset these on the cable stack with cable curls for the biceps, 2 sets of 12 to 20. Going on to our push-pull leg segment of the program. First up, we have pull day. We start off with T-bar rows for the back, 3 sets of 6 to 10. Note that this pull day has a bit of insulation with easier days around it, shoulders and arms and push day. And thus, I put our heavier back movement, our T-bar rows, on this day rather than on this chest and back day, because on this day you'd have squats the next day. You can see that I'm strategically placing exercises to distribute our fatigue as evenly as possible. Then we have cable rows for the back, 3 sets of 10 to 15. After that, barbell upright rows for the side delts, 3 sets of 10 to 15. These are more of a side delt exercise, but they also hit the traps, so I'll put them here on pull day. Finally, we have abs, and you're going to do 3 try sets. Then it could be worthwhile including some ab training. Then we have push day, starting off with a close grip bench press for the chest and triceps. 3 sets, and we're using a top set back off method here. So you're going to work up to 1 top heavy set of 6 to 10 reps, followed by 2 back off sets of 6 to 10 reps with about 10% off the bar. This program is nice because you have quite a few opportunities to fit in heavy pressing. Then we have machine flies for the chest, 2 sets of 10 to 15. After that, easy bar skull crushers for the triceps, 3 sets of 8 to 12. Then we have machine lateral raises for the side delts, 3 sets of 8 to 12. And single arm preacher curls for the biceps, 3 sets of 8 to 12. Notice that I moved biceps off of pull day onto push day here. I did this deliberately. The idea is that in the push-pull leg split, your biceps typically don't perform as well when you put them after pulling movements. This is because biceps are used indirectly with pulling movements and they will be fatigued to some extent. But putting them on push days, you can actually train them when they're fresh. Then we have leg day number 2. We start with trap bar deadlifts for the glutes and hamstrings. You're just going to work up to 1 top heavy set of 8 to 5 reps. And keep in mind that this doesn't include warm-ups. Trap bar deadlifts are a bit more quad heavy than sumo deadlifts or conventional deadlifts, but I still do overall count them as more of a glute and hamstring exercise rather than a quad exercise. Then we have lunges for the glutes and hamstrings as well as the quads, 3 sets of 8 to 12. Leg extensions for the quads, 3 sets of 12 to 20. And finally, single leg calf raises for the calves. We're also using a mile rep scheme here, so you're going to work up to 1 main set of 12 to 20 reps, followed by 6 mini sets of 3 to 5 reps. And you can load these with a dumbbell. Notice that in this program, we're actually training side delts with a relatively high frequency of 4 times per week. I think side delts recover really quickly and they do well with a high frequency approach. Also notice that our leg days are a little bit asymmetric. Leg day number 1 is more quad heavy with 2 squat type movements and 1 hamstring movement, while leg day number 2 is a little bit more posterior chain dominant. Also wanted to point out that our leg days have relatively fewer sets in their workouts compared to our more upper body sessions. This is because your upper body movements aren't as fatiguing as lower body movements. What other programs you guys want me to cover? Let me know in the comments below. I am the CEO of free hypertrophy programming on YouTube, and I'll always take your input into account. Alright, now that you've seen the program, let's go over the weekly layout. As we mentioned, this program features the push-pull legs and Arnold splits, but the days are slightly mixed up from what you traditionally see. I'll go through my reasoning here. So this split contains the Arnold split segment first in the week and then the push-pull leg segment afterwards. Starting off with the Arnold split here. With the traditional Arnold split, you typically have chest and back day, shoulders and arms, and then legs. But here, I've actually switched shoulders and arms and leg day. This allows us to solve one of the major disadvantages of the Arnold split, which is shoulders and arms coming back to back with chest. This allows us to have legs to buffer our shoulder and chest training. Now keep in mind that this setup does have some disadvantages. Namely, here you have arms coming before pull day. This means that you may have tired biceps going into pull day, which could potentially interfere with the productivity of some of your back work. Also, you'll see that biceps training is relatively bunched up since we have arm training here and then our other bicep training come on push day. Notice that I tried to give you a bit of extra bicep work on this chest and back day by putting in weighted chin-ups. If you do them supinated, you're going to get quite a bit of biceps involvement. So technically, you're still training your biceps 3 times per week. Now, when it comes to the push-pull leg segment, I swapped push and pull days here, and that's because it allows me to make this modification of putting biceps off a pull day onto push day. As we mentioned, this should allow you to perform better on your bicep training. Now keep in mind that the other option here would be to just swap these 2 days back, so just have chest and back, shoulders and arms, and then legs, which would be better for your arm training, but perhaps not as good for your shoulder training. With different splits, you're usually going to have some trade-offs. Okay, now let's talk about the pros and cons of this 6-day push-pull legs Arnold split program. Starting off with the pros. This program features a dedicated shoulder and arm day, which is inherent to the Arnold split. And this is one thing I really like about the Arnold split. With push-pull legs and upper-lower, your biceps and triceps typically come after pulling and pushing compound movements. The problem with this is that your biceps and triceps are used indirectly in those movements, so they're going to be fatigued through them. This means you're not going to perform as well on your direct bicep and tricep work. By having a dedicated shoulder and arm day, you're able to spend time really focusing on those smaller muscle groups, which are a weak point for a lot of people. Next, this program gives priority to your accessory presses. This program actually allows you to build in a pressing specialization if you wanted, since we're able to fit in bench press, overhead press, dips, and close grip bench press nicely across the week. In a lot of programs like push-pull legs or the upper-lower split, you aren't able to actually fit in a 3 times per week frequency for pressing. Next, this program offers a high frequency for shoulder and arm training. As you saw, I deliberately spread out our side delt training because I think side delts work well with high frequencies. Hard side delts don't really interfere with a lot of other exercises, and the side delts recover quickly. Our bicep and tricep stimulus is also spread out quite a bit throughout the week if you count that biceps and triceps are trained indirectly on chest and back days. Finally, this program incorporates a minimalist approach to the squat and deadlift. As you saw, we only have one heavy set of each in the program. I actually think a minimalist approach is a good way to start for beginners. You don't need that much volume to progress, and I'd much rather people start with less and not burn out. Trying to do 5 heavy sets of squats can be pretty draining mentally, and a lot of people just starting out don't actually need that much volume. Some people will also do better with a minimalist approach because it really allows you to lock in and dial into that single heavy set. You want to be focusing on getting good quality training in first. Okay, now let's talk about the cons of this program. First of all, you have arms before pull day. As we saw in the middle of the week, we have shoulders and arms and then pull day coming after. This could be an issue because your biceps are used in back pulling movements. So if you have sore, tired biceps from training them on shoulder and arm day, you may not perform as well on your back movements the day after. This is one of the problems that comes up when we try and hybridize splits. They don't always fit that nicely together. Now, I did try and address this by taking our most biceps intensive back movement, which is weighted chin-ups, and putting them at the beginning of the week on our chest and back day. Since biceps aren't used as heavily in T-bar rows and cable rows, they won't be affected as much. Now, the other issue in this program is that your direct training gets bunched up later in the week. We have bicep training coming in on shoulder and arm day, and then again 2 days later on our push day. It does help a little bit that we swapped our push and pull days and then put biceps the day after onto push day, but it's a little bit asymmetric. Again, moving weighted chin-ups over onto that chest and back day also helps here. Since weighted chin-ups use biceps to a high degree, you're getting in some biceps training here, so it's not like your biceps training is just bunched up over there and you have no stimulus in between. If you want to run this program yourself, you can join my Facebook group and download the spreadsheet for free. Find the link to my Facebook group in the description below. If you're looking for a 6-day program but want to check out a different split, check out this video where I share a 6-day hypertrophy program based on the upper-lower split. The upper-lower split is a very versatile split that can work for 4, 5, and 6 days per week. If you want to get the body you've always wanted, subscribe to my channel and we'll see you next time.